Three, two, one. What's happening, guys? This is Logan Robinson from Here the Spear, presented to you by NoleGameDay.com. We are live here on a wonderful Wednesday evening. We've got a big-time special guest with us this week. That's going to be former FSU defensive back, star player on the defensive side of the football, Jammie Robinson. Jammie, been looking forward to having you on here for a while, definitely during practices and watching you play and watching the games and covering you throughout your last 2 years in Tallahassee. But now to have you on here, the spirit's even better. So what's up? What's going on, Jammie?
Man, I'm just grinding, man. Living in the dream, bro. Living in the dream. Appreciate you having me, bro, for sure.
Absolutely. I think the mic might have came out a little bit. Maybe if you move the phone just a tiny bit. I don't know what just happened, but I think it might have lost your mic just for a second. There you go. I think it's a little bit better. I hope so. But yeah, man, excited to have you on. How are things going? Obviously, you just had a big time week at the Senior Bowl. Looking off of Twitter and just also the outlets that we were talking about, it seemed like you got a lot of good recognition, and you also played pretty well out there. How'd the week go and competing against some really good talent?
Well, honestly, man, I was just looking forward to, just being around the best of the best. That was my whole goal, just to stand out around just the top guys, being able to be around some NFL coaches and just being able to, be coachable and just taking everything in. That's how I attacked that, experience and, just being able to be the best version of myself. That's what I was just focused on, whenever I got up there, just meeting with all the NFL teams and, just going out there, being able to, be successful in my one-on-ones and just being able to fly around and just showcase myself. Honestly, that was my main goal. And, I went out there and just put my best foot forward.
One thing I was thinking about you while competing there, Jammie, was I wonder what the difference in feel was outside of Mike Norvell's practices and the workouts that y'all were doing. And then you go down there and you're competing and playing against players across the country, some of the best at their position. Was there a big switch up in the way of things? Or were you pretty accustomed and comfortable once you got down there and playing against those guys and the talent?
Well, the main difference was just being able to go through the meetings all day and just being able to wake up at 6 in the morning and doing something all day. Like we was working out, we was meeting, you know what I'm saying? Had to go watch some meetings and talk with some financial people, and it was a whole lot. Like the schedule that we was going by was just pretty packed, and that was pretty much the main difference. When I got on the field and stuff and was doing one-on-ones and competing with the guys, that just felt like practice, normal practice, So because every day at Florida State, that's all we did was compete. Every day it was competing. So it wasn't a big difference when it came to just the talent and just getting out there playing. It was just my schedule. My schedule was just packed the whole week while I was down there.
The Senior Bowl, obviously a pretty unique experience. You get to work with some NFL coaching staff out there on the practice field and in the game. So how do you feel like that kind of benefits you moving forward into this whole NFL draft process?
Well, honestly, just being able to, tell them my story, like where I'm from and, my upbringing and just some trials I had to go through, and then just some challenges I had to overcome, honestly, you know what I'm saying? And that was the biggest thing, just being able to sit down with them and just tell them about my whole self, and that was kind of like opening it to me because I've never just really opened up to a lot of people and, just being able to tell my whole story. And shoot, I met with every NFL team and I told them my whole story. And you know what I'm saying? I feel like, they was kind of like shocked about just where I came from and just how I was raised and stuff like that. It was kind of different. I know everybody got their own different story, but I just felt like mine kind of hit different, and just being able to overcome a lot of adversity, and that was a good thing for me, just being able to, open up to the scouts and to the NFL coaches.
For sure.
How's training going overall for you right now, Jammie? Where are you at? Who are you working out with? And how long are you going to plan on doing that until you get prepared, which we'll talk about the NFL Combine and also Pro Day here in Tallahassee?
So I had, after the bowl game, December 29th, I came up here to Phoenix, Arizona, January 3rd, and I'm training out here at EXO. So as soon as I got done with my bowl game, I really didn't have a break to, chill and relax and get my body right. So I just really hop right into training and, every day, Monday through Saturday, we get at least 2 to 3 workouts in. My third workout would be like my DB trainer here coming in from Texas, and he training me and another guy. It's just pretty much just Monday through Saturday. I'm working out, grinding. I'm on a fit schedule when it comes to just diet, just eating the right things and taking the right supplements and stuff like that. So I really just been on a strict diet and a strict schedule and just really just laying back, just chilling and just enjoying the whole process, honestly.
Yeah, and we were talking about it a couple minutes ago, but you officially got that invitation to the NFL Combine, and you're going to be participating there as well as at Florida State's pro day. So, what are you trying to prove or at least show to NFL scouts ahead of the NFL draft?
Well, honestly, I'm just ready to just to showcase everything. Just being able to run, jump and just do all the tests. Just that's what type of guy I am. Whatever the scouts and whatever they want to see, whether it's getting on the board, drawing up the defense, whether it's running, jumping, whatever it is, at the end of the day, I'm a football guy. Like I'm a football player, and I'm just ready to get past this little trial. You know what I'm saying? I just been up here preparing for it. Just grind and put my best foot forward, and just getting ready for it because I leave actually February like 26th to go to the combine. So I probably got like 2.5 more weeks left of training. I'm just really excited. Just ready to just get out there and just showcase me. Just be my best, be the best version of myself, and just show them what I'm capable of. Honestly.
I'm going backwards here a tiny bit, and we'll talk about Mike Norvell here in a few. But seeing the picture of the staff coming down to see you, including Derek Ray, Florida State's general manager, you had Adam Fuller there too, and of course Mike, and a few other FSU staff members. What was that kind of feeling like to have a good amount of those guys coming down there and seeing you during the Senior Bowl week?
Well, honestly, it was very like shocking because like I had left the program like I said earlier, December 29th after our bowl game, and I still was in contact with the coaches. Coach Mike Norvell, I always shoot me a text while I'm out here training. Coach Fuller also, just checking in on me. Making sure I'm good. I actually was getting on the board with my GA, my grad assistant. His name was Coach Wilson. I was getting on the board with him. We were just going through small things, but they always was like in tune with me. Just telling me to stay focused. Keep my best foot forward, like I said earlier, and then me seeing them after practice that day, well before practice too, but after practice, just being able to chop it up with them. I actually got on the phone with little Mila, and just was talking to her. That's Coach Norvell's daughter. And we was just on FaceTime for a little bit. That just shows like the love and the support that I have from Coach Norvell and his family. It's very touching for me because like where I'm from, like it's not much love, and that the fact that I can get that love from them, what I'm saying, it means a lot. So it's just showing that it's bigger than football, honestly. And I got a great relationship with everyone over there at Florida State, and I enjoy my time there, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Even though I was there 2 years, I feel like I did all four over there just because of the adversity and just the whole like the family vibes that we ended up getting, and you know what I'm saying, that relationship we built over the time.
Yeah, and we're going to kind of bounce around here a little bit, but you talked about it. You really enjoyed your time at Florida State. Obviously, you were very productive as well at Florida State on and off the field. But before you came to Tallahassee, entering the transfer portal from South Carolina, what went
Yes, sir.
into that original decision to come to FSU, and just kind of how did everything go during that process?
Well, honestly, when I got in the portal, my whole thing was just like I honestly didn't care where I ended up playing football at no more. It was just pretty much just trying to get closer to home, and then Coach Fuller, Mike Norvell, they got in touch with me and they had a great blueprint for me. Just being able to, blitz off the edge and cover in the slot and just play both safety roles. I just had a great plan. And when I got there, I had faced some adversity. My mom's house had caught on fire, and I was back and forth during spring training, back and forth from Lee County back to Tallahassee. Driving just to make sure she's good. She's staying in the hotel 4 months, so I'm back and forth. Checking in with her, and then eventually, like the whole Florida State family and the whole family, they helped out with a GoFundMe and stuff like that. So that just always showed love from the get go. As soon as I got there, it was love. Even though me and my mom and my family, we went through some adversity, but we always had the love for my brothers and the community. You know what I'm saying? So that was easy for me to just like decide on after that year just to come back. You know what I'm saying? And just to be a leader for my team and help put Florida State on the map. And eventually, we formed that brotherhood, formed that familyhood, and everything came together, and we won 10 games. And honestly, it felt like we won the Super Bowl in my eyes. Like that was the best. That was the best like year of my college career. So that made it much easier for me. You know what I'm saying? To decide that I wanted to declare for the NFL. Honestly.
Jammie, I mean, it's telling right now to everybody listening, but you're one of my favorite players to interview during practice, after practices, after games, just because you give a really great description about any kind of topic that anyone's asking you on a reporter side of things. But Jammie, going to Mike Norvell, what do you think attracts transfers at your age? You're an older guy. You're a player that maybe had been playing for a few years, and Mike Norvell has been pretty
Yes, sir.
successful. One of the most successful coaches in college football, bringing in transfers, definitely that have already put together some film. You're looking at like a guy like Jared Verse, or maybe looking ahead at Trey Benson, who maybe didn't have a lot of playing time, but was kind of risking it there and taking them in. What do you think is maybe so unique about Mike Norvell of building that trust early on with transfers?
Well, honestly, I can say this from my perspective, just me being a transfer. Pretty much when I first got there, Coach Norvell was like, he was the same guy every day. You know what I'm saying? Even if we lost, we won. It didn't matter. Like he was coming in the building like with that same smile, with that same attitude every day. And one thing that I can say for sure about the coaching staff there is that they always focus on the little things. You know what I'm saying? Like it's how you meet someone, how you like, sitting in the meetings and just being able to like make sacrifice and the service for others. And that was a big thing. And just me being able like to look back and reflect on that, like to this day, like I'm actually like just living that way now. You know what I'm saying? Trying to have a positive attitude every day. Like even if my day's going bad, just to keep a positive note. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like you can be the reason like how your day be. You know what I'm saying? If you feeling some type of way and your day going bad, but if you know what I'm kind of saying, like you just put on the like not put on the front, but just like overcoming that sad feeling or that angry feeling you have and just putting a smile on your face and, being joyful, like that can just change the whole day and just change your whole input and your output in life. So honestly, I just feel like Coach Norvell just definitely like he was the same guy every day and he just had that same smile and that same attitude and that just, that made it easier for you to trust in him. You know what I'm saying? And just for you to like, go front line and be there and just give your 110% just because of the simple fact like this man never changes. Like he's the same guy every day, and like you know what I'm saying. And you can ride with that easily. It make it way more easier for you to ride with a guy like that.
He doesn't change. We see it at practice.
Yeah,
The man says good morning at 4:30 p.m.
exactly.
Do you think he was crazy when he first met him a little bit?
That's what I'm telling you. Like I never. That's what I'm saying. Like I never like met a guy like that, and that's why I say like I could definitely ride for him. Like whatever it is, like I'm behind him just because of the simple fact like he's the same guy. Like he's not gonna change, and he's real. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm always built on, like that realness and that loyalty. Like, and I could definitely say like he's one of the realest I met for sure.
And it's not only that; it's the energy. You've got the inside information here. Does he have
Yeah.
does he constantly have coffee going into his office? Is there 5-hour energies? I mean, where does that come
Man,
from?
he don't even need none of that. Like literally, he don't need it. Like that's just him. You know what I'm saying? That's him. Like
Does
and
that
and
does
that,
that I was just gonna say, Jimmy, does that kind of does that go to you guys at practice? Is that kind of like, let's say you're having a down day, like you just don't want to practice. I mean, it's not gonna be a fun day. It's sluggish out, it's rainy, cold, or whatever. But then him having that energy, is that kind of I'm trying to find the word here, but does it transfer over to you guys quite a bit?
Oh yeah, it done motivated me plenty times. I done came in, I'm a player, so like going through fall camp and your body messed up and you just don't want to be there. But you know what I'm saying? He gonna yell, he gonna make you laugh, and that's gonna, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna change your whole day just because of him yelling and him being that same person. You're like, man, come on, coach, bro. It's 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning. And you doing you yelling like this and you excited, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got no choice but to ride behind him. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I look at, and that's why I always, been 110% behind Coach Norvell.
I wanted to ask about leaders because this Florida State program has been built on top of some really strong leadership from the players. Obviously,
Yeah.
people think about you, Jordan Travis, Fabian, Robert Cooper, Dylan Gibbons. They think about those guys, the vocal leaders. In your opinion, you get to see everybody. Who are some guys maybe that fans don't think about that guys that step up as leaders, either during games or behind the scenes?
Well, you sound like other than those guys that you mentioned.
Mhm.
Well, pretty much you got D'Lo, Kalen DeLoach. You know what I'm saying? You got young guys like Kevin Knowles, Shaheem Brown. Like that's a guy that's he played a lot of snaps. You know what I'm saying? And it's just those like Kevin Knowles and I can say Shaheem Brown for sure, like was some of the young guys that I could see being like bright stars for Florida State just because of the simple fact like when they was young, freshmen and sophomores, they was always guys that be at the front of the line, you know what I'm saying, guys that led, you know what I'm saying, and guys that spoke up, and like
Mhm.
I looked at that and for me just being a leader, like I've never just really been the vocal type of guy, but when I got to Florida State and then gaining that respect from my brothers in that second year, it was like kind of given to me. Like it was more easier for me to be that vocal guy. But I could honestly say Kevin Knowles and Shaheem Brown for sure because of the simple fact like they were leaders and it didn't matter how old they was and you know what I'm saying, what status they was in the lineup or whatever. Like they was guys that gonna speak up and they came to me when I didn't feel good or something like that. And they was talking to me, you know what I'm saying? Yo, Jammie, let's get it, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like little small things like that. I see them pick up many guys, you know what I'm saying, that's like probably like struggling in tour duty or something like that. They go pick them up, run the last rep with them, just doing the extra stuff, you know what I'm saying? And that opened my eyes and that made me become more of a leader. You know what I'm saying? Just because I'm like these young guys leading, man, and you know what I'm saying. It's no problem for them, so I know for sure it better not be no problem for me. So I definitely can say those two, and Kalen Deloach as well. But two young guys for sure, Kevin Knowles and Shaheem Brown.
I think it's really awesome you saying on the leadership side of things, a Shaheem Brown, a younger guy who I'm extremely, extremely high on. I think he has a really bright future. What can you
Most
say about
definitely.
Shaheem Brown? What to you? We get to see it. We see it at practices, but you see a ton more, and you're the one watching film, and you actually know if he's in the right spots or not. What should FSU fans be excited for regarding Shaheem Brown next season?
Man, he's like 6'3". He can run. You know what I'm saying? And he's smart when it comes to knowing the defense for sure. And he's physical. And then just being able to like I said, be a leader like at a young age. Like he was leading at a young age and just there's been times where Akeem Dent went down, Shaheem gonna step up and he gonna fill that role in. You know what I'm saying? And I go to the boundary safety. He go to free safety. You know what I'm saying? Him being able to play boundary safety and free safety. So that's within our defense is crazy because like our defense is not that hard, but just him being able to play multiple positions as well and at an early age, man. And I've seen him make plays, in practice and in the games, playing beside him as well. So yeah, he definitely got a bright future ahead of him, man, for sure.
Obviously, it was a big season for you guys, capped off with that Cheez It Bowl win, but it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. There was that 3-game losing streak. So I was just wondering if you can take us inside the locker room a little bit. What kind of went wrong during that stretch, and what was the key to you guys turning it around and in the year with 6 straight victories?
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't say nothing went wrong because last year it was we started off 0-4. You know what I'm saying? We started back winning. And I could say honestly, it was just like a lesson, and then it was just like pretty much, hey, y'all better not get back to what it was last year. Because we like I said, we started off 0-4. and we went on that little stretch where we lost some games and lost them 3 games, and then it was just like, bro, we know we done been here before. Like we know what it takes, and we all just rallied together. That's what it was always about. All we got, all we need mentality, and we all fought for each other. We didn't do no pointing the fingers at each other, and because that's right there. When you start pointing fingers at guys and and just start just blaming it on one person, and that makes the whole team go bad. And I can honestly say, like, Coach Norvell, we done been in meetings plenty times, and he'll be like, "Hey, that was my bad on the call." Everybody was like taking responsibility for their actions. Everybody was holding themselves accountable, and that's what I can honestly say. Like, it was more of just us being like a brotherhood and just being able to own up to whatever we did wrong and knowing what we did wrong and just being together. That was the most important thing I could see, just for us to just not, continue to lose and to get back right on the right track.
You mentioned the 0-4 start last season. What do you think was the biggest change between last season and a year that you only won 5 games, missed a bowl, and then this year 10 wins, capped off with a Cheez-It Bowl win?
More of just the players led. You know what I'm saying? Like, guys stepping up, guys leading, younger guys stepping up, younger guys leading. Honestly, that's how simple it was, because like the play calling didn't change, the playbook didn't change. We got some more good players in the room, but honestly, it was just like the more of the players like holding guys accountable, more of the players just leading the team. Besides Coach Norvell just getting up there, doing all the leading and stuff. We had guys calling team meetings, talking about what we need to do. You know what I'm saying? And that small stuff right there that made us come together more, and that made us win more. Honestly.
I was gonna say I harped on it quite a bit on this show for the last couple of years, ever since we began this. And one of the biggest things I've always said, accountability, and I feel like early years. Before you arrived, accountability was something that Florida State had to work on. And I think we've seen a change in that, definitely in your time of a player-led team. And I think that's what Mike Norvell was striving for y'all, to have players lead, because I think players listen more to each player. Do you think that's true, accountability-wise, like that?
Oh yeah, for sure. And then it's really mainly like how you do it. Like you shouldn't call a guy up in front of the whole team. You know what I'm saying? If they mess up a play or something like that, I honestly feel like you just should just take it to that player. Like, because I'm not gonna say it don't happen, but it didn't happen as much. You know what I'm saying? Like, as it did in the past. Like, guys is fussing in the locker room and stuff like that. Man, it was more like guys meeting 1-on-1, and if it's a team thing, but we're gonna call a team meeting and we just gonna squash this right here. We're gonna talk about this right now. Not just letting it go by and prolong. Like, that's when things go wrong. Like, if you just let it keep prolonging and you don't speak up on it. And I feel like every problem we had, everybody addressed it, and it was that, honestly.
I guess when you look back at your time at Florida State, 2 very productive years, like we've said before, what are some of the moments on or off the field that you're going to kind of cherish the most as you move on to the professional level?
I ain't gonna lie, dope Campbell Stadium, honestly. That's gonna be the main thing, just being able to suit up and boot up, suit up and boot up down there, man. That's the main thing, just turning up in front of the fans and stuff. Like, that's one thing I'm gonna miss, because like ain't nothing like, playing in dope Campbell, man. Ain't nothing like, and I done played in a lot of stadiums and been as part of a lot of different teams, man. I can honestly say, like, just playing in the stadium, man, and, having my mom and my grandma, and my family all in the stands, and I see them, they up there decked out, supporting for me, screaming for me, yelling for me. That was the biggest thing, and just being able to line up with my brothers, honestly, and win that bowl game. Like, the bowl game, I could say that was the most fun. Just that whole week, that bowl preparation, that whole week of just being in Orlando, just hanging out with the players and just getting the win. You know what I'm saying? Wait, when do I get my ring too? Do we get rings for all that? Because I need.
You should be getting one.
Yeah, I'm gonna be back in Tally soon, like after the
State
combine, man.
champs,
Yeah,
state champ ring. You should be
all
getting
that.
that.
Yeah, I need all that right there for sure.
I was gonna say, yeah, he definitely got to get that one in. I was gonna mention because Dustin was talking about one of your highlight times at Florida State. William bringing up a thing here on Facebook, talking about your sack on that quarterback. What went into that game or that play call there? And you're one guy which I've noticed throughout your career at Florida State. You don't really. You're going to make the play, and then you're just going to kind of put your head down and walk around and not really do much. Or maybe I'm not hearing you talk trash, but maybe there is. But you kind of keep to yourself.
Man. I'm never the trash talker, man. I just try to focus on being humble, man, and next play, bro.
You do a good job at it. But right there, going through, taking on the Miami quarterback in that clip that went viral across social media, how'd that feel and what went with that play?
Well, honestly, they was trying to score and they was getting close, like they was getting close to the end zone. They was in the red zone, and coach, we made a call, and I was blitzing out the edge, and they was doing like a RPO type deal with the running back and the quarterback, and eventually I was the read, but I knew we had a defensive end that was responsible for the dive, the running back. So I made it seem like I was biting on the running back when I knew for sure I had the quarterback, and that play happened, and he didn't want to go down, so I threw him down and tossed him around. But honestly, I could say like that whole game, just Miami, everybody know about that rivalry. We throw the U down and stuff, and it was just really that atmosphere, and the play just went well with the atmosphere and just the rivalry game and everything. Just like everybody know, that play gonna be remembered for a minute, but it was just where it happened and how it happened, honestly.
It was nice to do it in Miami, but I would say you had more of an FSU atmosphere probably in the second half because Miami fans.
Yeah,
there wasn't any Miami fans in those stands.
Nah, they was gone, man. It was no talent. No doubt.
And that's obviously a play that, like you said, will be remembered for a while. It'll be played before FSU and Miami take the field for the foreseeable future. How about the other rivalry game, getting a chance to play Florida on Black Friday, a really back-and-forth contest that you guys were able to come up with late in the fourth quarter?
Well, shoot. That was nail-biting, honestly. That was a great game. Like, they came and they played good. It was way better than the Miami game. But I could honestly say, like, just being in Doak and just, because I needed to win off Florida. Like, I haven't beat Florida my whole college, career. So just being able to beat them and, the way we did it, went out the last game of the season and became bowl. Well, we was going to be bowl eligible anyways, but just being able to finish that game and then get ready for a bowl game, it was really exciting. And just the atmosphere after that game, man, everybody was on the field and I was sitting in the crowd, posted up, and I ain't gonna lie, bro, it was kind of like, bro, it was kind of like a movie that game, honestly, like just seeing everybody run on the field and everybody got their phones out recording. That's what I say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna miss the hell out of college football, bro, just because of like the atmosphere, man. Like ain't nothing like college football. And I know the NFL gonna be exciting, but I know for sure like it's nothing like college football, man. I'm always gonna be, there for Florida State for sure, man. And ain't nothing like college football. Ain't nothing like college football.
I want to pick your brain on two things. I think when you beat LSU, did you feel like there was something special in this team, like they could do something this year? And then number two, it was kind of the debut for people to know who Jared Verse was because we got to see it in practice. We saw spring camp. I was high on him from the very beginning. He came on here the Spear before he arrived at FSU. I knew he'd be special and he'd bring some competition to practices. He'd bring the chippiness. And I just want to get your thoughts on that LSU game. And then also, Jared Verse as a player, as he's going to be playing again for FSU next season, which is crazy to think of.
I'm telling you, I definitely thought my boy was going to join me, but I feel like he can't get enough for Florida State. That's all it is. He had
another year in town. It's not a bad town to have another year in, Jamie.
No, I don't blame him. I don't blame him. He got to enjoy that little experience. But honestly, I can say like that's like before the season, like I had a whole lot of questions about just what Florida State gonna be. I'm like, man, we're gonna put Florida State on the map the first game of the season when we played LSU. And, going in the game, it was a great atmosphere in New Orleans. Yeah, it was in New Orleans, and just we had majority of Florida State, majority of the nose was there. You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
it was crazy because I've never been to New Orleans, and when we arrived at the hotel, man, all the fans were there, and just, man, that game also felt like a movie, man. Just like it felt like we were some young superstars, just being able to be in that atmosphere and had a Superdome. We had the Superdome packed more than the Saints really had a Superdome packed. You feel me? It was just really crazy, and I honestly can see like going into that game, I was hyped. I feel like I could have like me looking back at that game, I should have been a little more chill like how I usually be, but it was the experience for me, something that I learned from, and but just going in that game. I should have been more calm, but we won, so that's the most important thing. And just saying like guys fly around, make plays. Jordan Travis, Pokey made incredible catches. You know what I'm saying? Jared Verse had like 3 sacks. And just reflecting on Jared, man, he like coming in. I was recruiting him to come there. Like I've been to watch him on film, just like you say you watched him. Like I watched him, I knew what he was capable of. And when he was coming in, you know how guys like Jared came in loud mouthing, like talking this smack, talking everything, like. And eventually, man, when that game came, hey man, everything he said, he stood on it, and that's why I respect him to this day. Cause man, I'll be saying Jared in the locker room, I'm like, bro, be quiet. Like I'll be the first to say, bro, be quiet. But bro, I just know like I can look next to him on the field, bro. He gonna stand up. He gonna stand on business, and he did that every game I played with him. He was always there. He made a sack almost every game. He was very destructive. And that helped me in the back end, and me and my brothers in the back end. You know what I'm saying? Him get to the quarterback, forcing the quarterback to make throws that the quarterback don't want to make. He all in the face of the quarterback, getting tackles for loss, stuff like that. So, everybody know about Jared Verse future. Everybody know what's going to be in store for him next year. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, the sky the limit for that boy. And just knowing, like, he a dog for sure. He a dog in my book, for real, for real.
We're getting down towards the end here, but 13 games, a lot of great experiences this past season. You guys played a lot of great offenses as well. So I guess kind of looking back on it, reflecting a little bit, who do you feel like were some of the top players that you defended this year? Who gave you guys some trouble?
I say honestly, the Wake Forest offense, just because of the chemistry that they had as a team, as an offense, you know what I'm saying? And I could say Will Shipley, the running back from Clemson, like, we was always able to stop. We was always able to stop the main guys when we played teams. But I could say for sure, like when we played Clemson, we knew that the quarterback wasn't the best guy. We knew the receiving core wasn't all that, and we just knew the guy was the running back. And we kind of stopped him in the run game, but he made some plays on special teams that changed the game. You know what I'm saying? He had a return for like 40 yards, and that changed the whole momentum of the game. And he always been he's definitely a great player. He got a bright future ahead of him as well. And I could definitely say, yeah, him for sure from Clemson.
Who's now going into the league now? First off, any favorite team? Who do you personally pull for? And is there any team that you'd like to play for alongside someone in your
Honestly,
position?
New Orleans, because I like Honey Badger. I like watching him play. Like he's a student of the game. He's a dog. He can play any position. You know what I'm saying? And he's not the biggest. He's not the fastest, but he's just that dog. And I feel like honestly, I can reflect I like the way I play is the way he play. And just I like watching him play, and I for sure like to learn stuff from him. But you know how the league's set up. Guys really don't try to like take you under their wing. That's what I've been hearing. So I always been the guy that could just learn on my own. But that's one guy for sure. Like just like watching this game, and would definitely love to play beside him and just like get some pointers from him for sure.
I'm wondering if too on the, I don't know how much you keep in touch with some of the guys, but who do you keep in touch with the most? Maybe former FSU wise. I don't know if maybe some of FSU's guys have reached out to you since at your career at Florida State, now moving on into the league. Has anybody kind of reached you out?
Well, Jermaine, though. Jermaine, I called him a cheat code. You feel me? When he was at Florida State, he was a cheat code for me. If we needed to play, he gonna make it. And just him. Like I always talk to him. I FaceTime him whenever I feel like just talking about football, and just about the league and stuff. Then like I don't really talk to Asante Samuel as much because like I ain't really, when I was there, he wasn't there. Like I didn't play with him, but just from him being like undersized, and he got that dog in him as well, and he a student of the game as well too. So I sent him texts on Instagram, and he hit me back and stuff. And I always tell him, bro, I'm looking forward to just coming to the league, bro. And when I get to the league, we'll hang out and stuff. You know what I'm saying? We'll probably go to some DB clinics together and stuff like that. You feel me? I just want to just get around guys because that's always been my dream to play in the NFL. And it's slowly approaching. So I've just been living in the moment, man, and just trying to see what it's gonna take. And I know what it's gonna take to be a pro, just to be consistent. You know what I'm saying? And I'll just be trying to get pointers on just how to stay consistent. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it ain't going to be about who the fastest, who the strongest. It's really going to be about who can be the most consistent and just having that IQ when it comes to just playing in the league.
Has Jermaine been able to give you any pointers during this process, especially since he played at the Senior Bowl as well and obviously parlayed that into a first-round pick?
About the Senior Bowl stuff, just playing, practicing. Because when I was there, bro, when I was just at the Senior Bowl, I swear it was only five DBs winning the game. Like everybody else went back home or opted out to play or didn't practice no more. You know what I'm saying? And I always been a football guy anyway, so it really didn't matter. But for me hearing him say that, just hey, bro, be present. You know what I'm saying? And that was one thing I did. I was always present. And then I just kept watching guys like not finish practice, and I'm like, bro, you really didn't even do nothing at the practice. Like Jermaine bubbled out, you know what I'm saying? But it was guys who, you know what I'm saying, probably how the agents be and telling them this, telling them that. But honestly, I can say that was a stupid decision for a lot of guys to not like finish playing in the game and finish up practice. But I'm the type of guy, bro. I love football and I love to compete. So I was just always sold on just being there, being around the best, the quote unquote best of the best. You know what I'm saying? And just that's it. Just to line it up. Whoever y'all say the best, put them in front and let's do it. That's what type of guy I always been, bro.
And it paid off.
Suited up and booted up.
Yeah, for sure. No, for real though.
It paid off for you though, because they named you, the players on your team, the wide receivers and tight ends, they named you the practice safety of the week. Yeah. So I mean, just to get that recognition, being around all that talent and those NFL scouts, what did that mean?
Bro, I honestly didn't know I was gonna get that. For real, I didn't know I was gonna get that. So we was at walk-ons, and the ceremony little thing was at walk-ons, and I heard him say Florida State. I'm like, what? Because I was the only Florida State player there. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, what? Me? And it was just really like, man, I know that I like to compete. You feel me? And all that practice, I'm competing. I'm flying around. You know what I'm saying? And they had me in the middle of the field safety. So at Florida State, I was mostly like we were split safety, or I'll probably be in the box, blitzing or something like that.
Yep.
So they really put me in the middle of the field just to see my range and stuff like that. So I was mostly in the middle of the field. So I really didn't expect, to win that award. But shout out to the boys that voted on me. The receivers and the tight ends, and you know what I'm saying. That just shows that they respected me. And that's all I try to gain, bro. That's it. I just try to gain respect, bro. Just because, like, I respect the game, and I just want to get the same thing from the game.
I've only got 2 questions left, Jammie. One of them, the most important one we always ask our guests on here. Best food spot to go in Tallahassee. Let's say it's your last night in Tallahassee. You've got to pick somewhere to go throughout your last couple of years here in Tally. Yeah. What has been the best place, go-to spot?
Roberto. I love that hibachi spot. I love that. That's all I eat. Chicken and rice.
Yep. I think that's what Jakai told us too. Jakai,
I go crazy on that.
Couple people.
A couple of the players have told us that Roboto's is the place to go to. I don't blame you at all. There's nothing better. You get the yum yum sauce though.
Oh yeah.
Making sure spicy.
Come on, I just like the regular one, and then I get the little teriyaki sauce.
Oh yeah, you can't ever go wrong with a little extra teriyaki.
Sure.
And then really my last one here, Jammie, and appreciate you hopping on here with us for a good long while. Where do you think this program's headed, Florida State?
National championship, man. That's it. That's the only expectations I got for them boys, man. That's it. It's there for them, and hey man, if I had another year to do, I would have did it. I did have another year, but just the way the things ended, the way the season ended for me, man, I ain't had no choice but hey, man, I got to do it. But I
Absolutely.
honestly can say national championship, bro. That's the smallest thing I can say right now. That's it. National championship, man.
Yeah, Norvell got extended today, just a couple
Big
hours
man.
ago, all the way through 2029, man.
Sheesh.
Double the salary.
2029. Golly. So by my second contract, he's still gonna be there. I'm gonna be pulling up still. You know, I'm gonna still be at Florida State. That's crazy though. 2029, that is crazy.
Yeah.
I ain't know it was for that long. That's crazy, man.
Yeah,
But
2029 and double the
that's
salary.
That's what tell you what type of guy he is, man. Like I can see that. Like I can see him being there for a long period of time, just because like he's the same guy every day. And I don't know how you can fire a guy like that. You know, I don't know how you can get rid of somebody like that. Like I never met a guy like him.
A ton of energy. I mean, it's been great getting to know him, and I reached out to him once he got hired, and he's been great with the media and really communicative with us, and it allows us to do things like this, but also get out y'all's stories, talk about how y'all doing at practice, and
Yeah,
I think he's leading it in the right direction in a lot of different ways, and definitely with the off-field staff that he's brought in. I want to be shocked if they make some more moves this offseason to add more, because it's gone to show. It has turned into a beneficial asset to have extra people off to the side of the field helping out, like Derek Ray, and a lot more on that side of things. So I think it's big.
man. Most definitely, for sure, that man.
Go ahead, Dustin.
Yeah, I was going to say, appreciate you coming on tonight, Jammie. And I think just last thing for me, just keeping it easy. Who are some of the funniest guys on the team?
Man, the funniest guy, Jarian Jones and Jerry Verse. Literally.
Yeah.
Them two. I'll say them two for sure.
Have you been keeping up with Jarian's Twitter?
Man, you talking about the Valentine thing, man.
The PowerPoint that he made?
This guy is hilarious. Hey, he need to win her back though, because I already know his situation, man. I already know how it's like, what's going on with that. But he gonna win it back, man. He's just funny, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, that man funny, man. He's funny, bro.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, you were there after the UF game when we were sitting there and interviewing you guys, and Jaron was calling out everybody on Twitter.
Bro, he funny, bro. I'm telling you, he gonna speak his mind. That's one thing about him, man. He gonna speak his mind, bro.
I respect
when I first
it.
got there, he was my roommate, so like I know everything about that boy. That boy funny, man. J-Dub is hilarious.
Yeah, man, it was great. Now he's a funny guy, and you get to see him next year too for FSU, which that's gonna be highly competitive there in that defensive back room, which will be fun. Be fun to watch. Sure. But Jammie, appreciate you, man. Been looking forward to this for a couple weeks now, and it was super fun covering you throughout your career at Florida State, coming from South Carolina, and I can truly say, having you on and just being able to interview you, throughout the years has been awesome. So wishing you the best of luck. Hopefully everything goes well for you at the Combine, Pro Day, and then obviously getting drafted.
Oh yeah, y'all gonna see me at Pro Day. I'll be back in
we'll
Tally.
Be there.
Yeah, after I leave from up here, man, I'm gonna be back in Tally late March 1st. So getting ready for the Pro Day. Pro Day is like March 30th, I think. So yeah, I'll be back in Tally, man. So if y'all boys wanna sit down, eat somewhere, hang out, man, just hit me, bro.
Robotos
sure,
afterwards.
You there.
Yeah, man. Hey, appreciate you, Jammie.
Nah, thank y'all, man.
Thanks, Jammie.
Well, former FSU defensive back Jammie Robinson with us this evening. I've been looking forward to that. I knew it would be good just coming off of the interviews we would do with him almost weekly, either after a game or after practice. And he gets very descriptive on his answers. Not a lot of players do that, but he really does. Even with the double hit there, a double question I gave him with the LSU game and then going into Jared Verse talk, man, he takes on everything.
Media training paid off.
I was about to say the media training, Florida State, shout out maybe to Derek over there, what they're doing with the SIDs, but
and there are some guys that just have the personality, some that don't. Jammie's one of those guys where you can really feel the charisma.
Yeah, no, exactly, and it's awesome to see, and he's going to kill it, I think, in this Combine, Pro Day, and I think one of the bigger things too is in those meetings with those coaches in the NFL, with those GMs, all the guys in those operations and those NFL offices are going to really like Jammie Robinson whenever they get to sit down and talk with him. So,
and like Jermaine Johnson, a really good performance at the Senior Bowl. Like we said, he was awarded as the practice safety of the week. Ended up getting 3 tackles in the game. It was kind of, they were playing the safeties really far off, so it was a little bit strange with the alignment, but still a really good experience for him to get to work with NFL coaches. And as well as, him starting on the defensive side of the ball for the American team, he was also out there making plays on special teams. I don't know if you guys saw it, but he was down there down to punt at the 1-yard line. So, I mean, he's just showing that he can do it on the defensive side of the ball and he can do it on special teams. And, with NFL teams only having 53 players on their rosters, that's an important aspect for a player to have.
It certainly is. So appreciate Jammie hopping on here with us. Let's jump into a few quick hitters and get out of here, guys. Big news. We talked about it earlier, but Florida State extending Mike Norvell all the way through the 2029 season, which would make him his 10th year at Florida State inside of the program. This broke earlier today. I was literally talking with a friend at the gym, and was like, I think one of the big question marks now as Florida State's administration continues to move on with Norvell is now, how do you keep him and how long are you extending him? And out of nowhere, it's funny how things work, but a few hours later, they announced the extension through 2029. And I've seen a majority of a positive reaction, I think, from Florida State's fan base on Twitter and Facebook, all that kind of stuff. And what do you guys think? Deserved, or should you wait until 2023 and after the outcome of that season and then make that extension? Or do you do it now like they did today and go ahead and say, hey, this is our guy? You're showing recruits, you're showing the families, you're showing the administration, the program as a whole under President McCullough. This is our head guy at the football program, and we're going to run him all the way through the rest of this.
I'm going to just pick up where Jammie left off. It's cheaper to extend a coach before they win a national championship than after.
Yeah, I guess, maybe he's giving financial advice here.
I think all of us have super high expectations for this team coming forward. If they have the success that we think they can have, it's a lot cheaper to extend them now than next year.
Yeah, I can see the argument for both sides. Obviously, I think Florida State, they're banking on 2023 being a pretty good year for the program and going ahead and getting ahead of it with his contract extension. And then, I mean, you just look at what Norvell has done since he came to Florida State. He took a pay cut whenever he first got here to help out with his assistant coaches, did some other things, donated part of his salary and some other stuff for the university. And he's also helped bring in some funds as well for this IPF, doing a bunch of campaigning for Florida State. So I think this is just a reward, and Florida State sees the bright future, the foundation that's been set under Mike Norvell, and they're thinking obviously it's going to go pretty far into the future with that contract being through the 2029 season.
One thing Mike Norvell did, from what I was told from a close source to the program, Mike Norvell on the plane over here brought a whole two to three binders, something like that, and laid out the game plan year to year to year and all the different projects and things that he wanted to do to work with boosters, along with a lot of other things, including NIL and the projections of where that was going to be. He had these in binders ready to go on the plane to meet with the Florida State administration upon being eventually hired at FSU. And through that interview, laying out year by year, and then including the IPF, the new one, or now not really the IPF, but we're going to put the football only facility right next to it, and the game plan for what the foreseeable future will be for Florida State here in Tallahassee, and wanting to build this into the program that it definitely is, as it should be. It never was. It's always going to stay Florida State, but bringing it back to where it needed to be. And I think he saw that vision, and I thought that was like a unique thing that I was told, because it really goes to show, Mike Norvell really wants to stay in. Hearing it from Jammie Robinson just earlier saying, that sounds about right. That sounds about what Mike Norvell wants to be, and kind of lay his foundation as being one of the few coaches to come through Florida State and bring it back to where it should be a yearly thing of thinking, yeah, Florida State should be competing for an ACC championship. They should be competing for a playoff berth to fight for a national championship. That's something that he had game planned year by year by year by year by year, but I think close to a decade or so. And it's coming to fruition. He had a lot of work to do upon arrival. I mean, we've talked about it and harped on it enough, but the culture that needed to be changed was the first thing out of everything before you could even move further anywhere. What was making sure that culture was changing that locker room to build to now, like Jammie was saying, accountability, guys, player-led team. I thought that was huge from Jammie to tell us that this is now a player-led team, which we have wanted to see out of Florida State in a lot of years. And I think they've officially made it to this point heading into the 2023 season.
Yeah, the culture, developing players, NIL. I mean, all aspects of the program have just improved since Mike Norvell got to Tallahassee. Like I was saying, the foundation has been established. Obviously, a lot of talent is coming back, and they're banking on 2023 being quite the season for them. But with the way this coaching staff has operated and the transfer portal, with the improvements we're seeing on the high school recruiting level, especially with a guy like Patrick Surtain coming in with his caliber of recruiting and the ties he has to South Florida. I mean, it seems like things are on the up and up there, especially with NIL starting to get more in sync, it seems like. So, Florida State, it looks like the future is bright, and, things are moving in the right direction under Mike Norvell. So extension coming at the right time, I would say. And like I said, I can see the argument for waiting another year, another 2 years to make this extension, but it shows that this program is committed to Mike Norvell. Like Austin said, it shows recruits that Mike Norvell, his coaching staff, the guys that don't get promoted and go elsewhere, are going to be here for the long haul.
I'll finish it off here with a Michael Alford quote, as we were just talking about culture change. And the first line with this announcement today in press release says, Coach Norvell has reestablished a culture that the entire Seminole family can appreciate. We are proud of the way Coach Norvell, his staff, and his team represent Florida State University on and off the field. Under Coach Norvell's leadership, we have experienced the highest grade point average in program history multiple times, an unprecedented impact in our community, and drastic improvement on the football field through him establishing a foundation of unwavering standards in all areas. I'm happy that we are going to continue climbing with Mike Norvell for years to come. So I thought that was unique for that first line, culture change, something that needed to happen, and it is done. I think that mission, it never changes, because once Florida State starts, finding this success, and they're going to be, they're always on a national stage, but moving into, an ACC championship, there's going to be different things that change in the locker room. But that first stage that Norvell wanted to work on, I think after 3 years, it's been accomplished as we head into 2023. Let's jump into another thing here, D-Lou. You were just mentioning the name, but Patrick Surtain, making sure I don't say Surtain anymore. Make sure everybody calls me out if I do. But Patrick Surtain, Florida State's new defensive backs coach. We got to hear from him last week. We didn't get to talk about it because we did the schedule release show on Monday, but got to hear from him along with Hakeem Williams, Brock Glenn. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you guys go watch on our YouTube channel, Brock Glenn and Patrick Surtain. We have those uploaded onto the website for you guys, along with Lucas Simmons, Florida State offensive tackle. Seems like Patrick Surtain is going to kind of fit in pretty easily, if I'm going to say so. And Dustin, you're big on recruiting here on this side of things. You had to and I saw you tweet a few things during that whole entire press conference. What stood out to you the most, and definitely as part talking about South Florida, I thought was unique? They know my name. There's nothing else more I really have to do about it. I thought that was a pretty good response to one of the questions last week.
I would just say really the confidence, the energy, the swagger that he kind of exuberated during that interview. I mean, he wasn't thrown off his mark by any questions. He was sitting around laughing, joking with the media. This is a guy who's obviously very comfortable speaking in public and being the face of something important, especially, after leading American Heritage High School, spending a year with the Miami Dolphins. He has a ton of ties, and he spoke about those recruiting ties a little bit down there in South Florida, out in Louisiana, in Mississippi as well, with his ties as a player, as a coach, as a professional. So, I mean, man, just ties everywhere he's coming in. He said, he mentioned his obvious ties to South Florida, how his time at American Heritage is going to help Florida State on the recruiting trail. But what he also talked about was just finding the best players from anywhere in the country. And he really appreciates how so far, very early in his tenure at Florida State, Mike Norvell is just letting them go after the guys that he wants to go after. He's got a recruiting region, but he's not only stuck to that region. So I think he just appreciates the freeness that he's experiencing so far at Florida State. And I mean, man, that was a very impressive interview. And I'm interested to see how it keeps going from here because he's only 4 weeks into the job. We're just getting started.
Yeah, just beginning for him. And it was funny. Immediately, I think like a day later, 2 days later, he's already on the recruiting trail with the coaching staff. So it didn't take too long for him to get adjusted to that schedule. And we got to also hear from Brock Lynn, who I thought put together a really nice interview. Looked about it, didn't come off as a true freshman, the way that he was talking felt really relaxed, and goes to show too, we had Tokars on here before not too long ago talking about Brock Lynn. He said it really came down to relationships, and that's something Brock talked about in the press conference of eventually picking Florida State, sticking with them after being a previous Ohio State quarterback commit. He's going to come play here in Tallahassee and picks to do that. And, he's talking about building the bond too with Hakeem Williams, which it was funny. Brock Lynn walks in so relaxed, just chill, just like we're just shooting the shit type of deal. And then Hakeem comes in and he's like, man, my hands are already sweating, man. My hands are already sweating. And then he leaves after the press conference and is like, God dang, my hands are so sweaty right now. But, those two are already building a bond. I see them on IG Live. They're posting some stuff on Instagram. It seems like those two have connected very well. And then you look at Lucas Simmons, too, another true freshman coming in who now really it was all built on the relationship with Alex Atkins and the trust there very, very, very early on in that recruitment, D-Lou, that ended up him picking Florida State over all these other teams that were after him. I thought the three true freshmen that came in presented themselves very well to their first introductory interviews.
Lucas Simmons, impressive, man, on and off the field. I've already talked about before how he's now the tallest player on Florida State's roster, officially 6'8", a little bit over 300 pounds coming in as a true freshman. But really, to me, it's just kind of his mentality. He seems like a guy who's really mature beyond his years. I don't know if it's just the aspect of being an international recruit, being from Sweden, where you're not just always surrounded by all this recruiting stuff and, all the hoopla that comes with it. He's only had to experience it, for about a year or two before he signed with Florida State. But this is a guy, like I said, wise beyond his years. He's bringing in some real maturity to Florida State, and I think it's going to be big for him both on and off the field. And he, like you said, Logan, he's got that really tight connection with Alex Atkins, which was a major factor in him choosing Florida State. And then, as for Brock and Hakeem, I don't know if you mentioned it, but they're actually roommates right now at Florida State. So that's going to be crucial in quarterback and wide receiver, building a relationship on and off the field, developing some chemistry. It's going to be really interesting. Brock kind of knows that this is a redshirt year for him where he's going to be learning a lot from Jordan Travis and competing in practice, trying to, establish himself a little bit as the signal caller of the future. We'll see how it works out. Whereas Hakeem, the 5-star prospect coming in, already going through tour of duty and everything, very deep wide receiver core coming back. Is he going to be able to break into that rotation? We'll see how things go in the spring. Maybe needs to refine a little bit as a wide receiver, but the athleticism pops off the charts. He's got a really great personality, and it's going to be exciting to watch all three of these guys very early in their careers at Florida State.
It was really nice to be there, too, to ask Hakeem to his face on the loyalty, because I talked with Ron Dugans after early signing day, and, he could tell me all about Hakeem Williams, but to ask him specifically, hey, the loyalty, where does that come from within you? And because you're right down there by Miami, and we were hearing, you can hear from whoever, I don't know,
Miami,
whatever.
Colorado, Texas A&M.
Yeah,
the
like
whispers were there.
Yeah. And there is whispers, and you can believe them, you don't have to believe them, whatever. But yeah, it's a 5-star, really talented wide receiver commit, so it's probably true. And he was admitting, Miami would be after him, but to have the loyalty to pick Florida State and stick with them for that amount of time, because we talked about here multiple times, we thought maybe, he'd go on and do some other official visits elsewhere and do all that. But things kind of reversed, and he ended up putting on the recruiting cap and, sticking with his commitment, going after a few guys to hope seal them in. And, you see him tweeting. It just goes to show, too, kind of the high character player that he is as a true freshman coming in, and we expect to see a good amount of playing time from him this upcoming season. The physical attributes on him, and then also Lucas Simmons, is absolutely ridiculous. And I do think, too, Brock Glenn has put on some size. I was talking with a few other of the beat reporters, and definitely has put on some size at the bottom half of his body, which, last time I saw him, though, was this last summer. So just to see him put on a little bit of significant size, and then now working with Coach Storms is pretty good for a quarterback that you do want to let him go through, learn from the quarterbacks ahead of you, and then have a big time quarterback competition in 2024 with Luke coming in. So some really good interviews from
Definitely
the three freshmen and Patrick Surtain.
Yeah, and just sticking with Surtain real quick before we end off here. I was just going to say, one part of the interview that I thought stood out to me was just him talking about, the current state of the room coming in. Florida State already pretty highly up there in 2022 as far as passing defense, but what he wants to do is start creating turnovers, which Florida State didn't do a lot of last year. Said he's looking for guys on the recruiting trail that have natural ball skills. So he might be recruiting a guy that's a receiver in high school who's going to play defensive back at the next level, or a guy who's playing both ways at the high school level. And mention an aspect of the players that he wants to improve is getting their head turned around at the football. Wow.
Yeah, that's big concept in pass defense, and that's a guy that knows plenty about creating turnovers. 37 interceptions as a pro, recovered 7 fumbles as well. So definitely something you want to see out of the defense moving forward.
Another thing he said is, I guess this job kind of popped up really at the perfect time for Patrick Surtain, because he had never coached at the college level before, only had that experience at the high school level for a long period of time, and then the 1 year with the Miami Dolphins. But, when Florida State came calling, he had to take a look into the opportunity and then ended up accepting it, obviously here in Tallahassee now. But he said if it was another school, somewhere out in the West Coast, or he mentioned Minnesota or Washington, he's like, I probably wouldn't have went. So really just the perfect scenario, especially with the fast track that Florida State is on to getting back to where it used to be, which, funny enough, he actually played against FSU in college while he was at Southern Miss. I don't know if that was the team that Brett Favre was on. I don't know.
I think it might have been.
It might have been, but either way, I think the final score was 44-14 or something like that.
Yeah, the second half was Florida State routed them. And he was laughing about that. He said he'll never forget being in Doak. So it won't be too crazy. He said he's going to be happy that he's on the other side of things and maybe on a more positive direction to leave with a win. So, those were some great interviews from those newcomers. Anything else that we're missing wise? I guess this Sunday we will have some Super Bowl Knowles. Hefty amount of them, guys. Hefty amount of them. You've got Derek Nottie with the Chiefs, along with Joshua Kane Doe. On the Eagles side, you'll have Jammie Robinson, Marvin Wilson, and you can't forget Josh Sweat, who has had a really good year. And I haven't checked yet. He was not at the Pro Bowl, right? Because at first he wasn't.
No, if you're in the Super Bowl, you're not in the Pro Bowl.
True, but I'm just saying getting the invite though, so you have that accolade added to your Wikipedia, because that's what matters the most when we write about you.
Don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think he did, because we were talking about it, like we were going to see if maybe he would get jumped up.
No, he was not. He was last year, but not this year.
Gotcha. Okay, but so. The NFL snubbed them on that one. Shout out to Roger Goodell.
Predictions? Anyone?
Chiefs.
I got Chiefs. Chiefs by 10.
Ooh.
Yeah. I knew the Chiefs were going to win that game. God, the 49ers. Man, I had Brock Purdy win that game. Of course, everything goes wrong for me there. Everything goes wrong. Like the first quarter, maybe like the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
With that being said, since y'all going that route, I'm going to go with the Eagles. I think they stick with it. They've been the most consistent team this year. Not saying that the Chiefs haven't looked good and stayed consistent, but I just think the Eagles, though, they've got something going, and I think Jalen Hurts is completely fine. He'll be good. I think Patrick Mahomes will be fine too. I thought that he was going to be okay for the AFC Championship, which he was. I think there's some things that are just so over dramatized as we do. Whoa. As we do as media, as now running a Buck site, we on our end, our headlines, we like to dramatize things and make it so then we can get some clicks. Let's be honest here. So the whole Patrick Mahomes and him being hurt, oh my God, is he going to be able to play? That's just driving clicks. He's going to be fine for the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts is going to be fine. So it should be a really fun matchup. That's what I want a good game. And that's all I want. This is our last football game before we go on a stretch of absolutely.
What? Hey, XFL,
Oh,
USFL. Come on.
I will say the UFC, if anybody likes MMA or fighting, has a really nice lineup for the next coming months. So I think Dana White and what they've done, they kind of knew the game plan that they had now with football going away for a little while for the off season. We're going to have some good fights coming up. So we'll have that. Y'all have your NBA. We'll get some baseball soon. I'll watch like 2 Giants games, and then after that, wait until the playoffs come. Then
I won't watch a single inning.
I bet you won't, and I won't watch a single quarter of.
I doubt that
Dallas Mavericks games.
Well, that's fine, but you'll watch some Warriors games or something. I'm just not going to watch any baseball.
I'm not saying that I'm going to sit here and say like push for you to watch some, but I'm going to say I'm going to watch at least 2 Giants games, and that's going to be good enough for me till the playoffs come around. But yeah, I think that's it, guys. I don't think there's anything more that we're missing. I mean, basketball. I mean,
we need to recap this. Syracuse 76 to 67.
I was going to talk about something else basketball wise, but I mean, if you really want to.
What good do you have? What kind of thing can you?
Second half sucked. That's all you got to know for the Syracuse game. Florida State couldn't hit shots. They took way too many threes. They took 35 threes. And when you only hit 9 of them, not really the percentage you want. More than half their shots came from 3. It's just not the way Florida State normally operates. They did get a win against Louisville on Saturday. Congrats.
Pulled it up on Google. Couldn't even do like a stat broadcast.
Yeah, I know.
We're not looking at stats for this. We're not.
I will say I was real close on my preview prediction. I said, what did I say? 77-68, I believe.
I don't know. I didn't read it.
That's nothing new. So I was right there. I was close.
You were close. Yeah. I was about to say you're almost right. You're right. Almost right on it. And you picked Florida State to win that one, though, right?
No, I did not. I said Syracuse.
Just kidding.
Yeah, but it was the biggest interesting thing was Chandler Jackson got the start over Jalen Worley. And Chandler Jackson had a pretty good first half with 7 assists. Naheem McLeod had a really good game in the first half with 14, 6, and 2 blocks at halftime. Just couldn't find any offense in the second half. That's really all I don't know. To me, the biggest news, we just got to talk about him. Malik Beasley just got traded to the Lakers.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he's part of the trade that sent Russell Westbrook to the Jazz.
I missed this. When did this happen?
Well, like as Jammie Robinson was coming on, the Lakers got Jared Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley.
TweetDeck is back.
Russell.
I missed my Shams tweet.
Yeah, so former Noel on the move. I think this is his 4th team that he's been on now. Started in Denver. Yeah, Denver Timberwolves,
good.
Jazz, and now the Lakers. I think it's a good fit, honestly. The Lakers have needed some shooting, and Beasley's top 15 in the NBA in threes made this season, so he's exactly what they need.
Yeah, LeBron just needs to kick it out to him.
So we're gonna have a Lakers player on our podcast, right? After this NBA season, or what? What we got, Beasley? What kind of connects you got?
Pretty sure Malik Beasley hates Austin.
That's what?
Damn, jeez, you're just gonna put that out.
Just what I heard.
I mean, that'd be news to me considering I've only met the guy for 10 seconds. Because his 1 year was before I was with the team. So that'd be crazy if he hated me.
Well, I mean, I feel like a dual show with LeBron and Malik Beasley on here would be pretty decent, right?
Now we're reaching.
Come on, you could figure it out, right?
Put
one for the team.
Now we're reaching. He's really the only guy that I'm expecting to get traded as far as former Florida State guys. Scotty's not going anywhere. John Isaac's not going anywhere. Pat, maybe if the Bulls decide they want to blow everything up last minute, but even then, kind of doubt it. Terrence Mann's got a contract to where I could see him getting moved for, a better guard. I just with Conley and Russell and Westbrook all getting traded in the same trade, I don't really see any of the point guards being on the market. And Kyrie just got traded too, to my team, which will be interested.
Thoughts?
Say goodbye to your franchise.
Did you say thoughts? It's either going to be amazing because you have Luka and Kyrie just playing off each other as, I think, 2 of the 3 best ball handlers in the NBA, I think, or it's going to be worse than the Rajon Rondo trade, which if the Mavericks fans know, it's that was an experience.
I remember that one.
I was
off the court.
I was so excited because I was a huge Rondo fan when he was with the Celtics. He gets traded to Dallas. Before he had gotten traded, my dad had bought us tickets to go to a game in Dallas for my birthday, and a week later, Rajon Rondo gets traded there for the game that we're at. So I'm excited. Buy the jersey. Worst money ever spent.
Tough scene.
For Rajon Rondo Mavericks jersey for a player that lasted, what was it, 2 months?
Yeah,
3 months.
Not very long.
Well, Florida State's going to face Pittsburgh,
a team they've already beaten, but Pittsburgh is in a tie for first in the ACC right now, if you can believe it.
Really?
It is them, Virginia, and Clemson, all at 10-3 in the ACC.
Woo, they've got a tough stretch. I think we talked about it last week, but they got a tough stretch.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh and then Clemson, like that.
Yeah, Clemson on the road next week, but then you get Boston College. So
good, maybe a close game.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. We'll see. Anything else, gentlemen? I think we've wrapped up everything. Jammie was awesome on here to have for the interview. He was on here for 45 minutes.
I mean, you told him 25.
Yeah, you lied to him.
We got to start telling them like 45 minutes to an hour. When it's the off season like this, I can just keep going and driving in. But I knew Jammie
tell
would
them that, they probably won't hop on the show.
Yeah,
I got it. So you just lie to them, and then you just hold them hostage live.
You just
Exactly.
You just gotta be honest. We usually go 30 minutes, but you're welcome to stay longer if you want to. That's how you gotta phrase it.
Yeah, that's how we'll get him. Jammie, I know, just close up and having a relationship with him, he'd be down just to hang out with us. So that was a great interview. Appreciate Jammie hopping on with us this evening.
He said we're getting Robotos, so
man, I'm jealous. I miss Robotos.
Well, we'll send you a selfie whenever me, Jammie, and D-Lou are there. We're gonna send you a selfie, VZ.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Quick reminder for everybody on Monday night, and I don't think we really talked about it on the show here, but earlier this week, we announced that we are having a new show. This will be a live show on Monday night. It will not be a weekly show, not like Hear the Spirit like we do on Wednesday nights. This will be a show called Calculated Chaos with 2013 national champion, 2013 Remington Award winner, and Super Bowl champion Brian Stork. Played with Jameis Winston at quarterback. Then the next year went off and won a Super Bowl, snapping to Tom Brady. He had reached out to us a couple months ago, brought up the idea of doing a live breakdown of film with him narrating it. I'm going to be on there just kind of chopping it up with him, bringing some questions in from chat and everything. And we're going to do a show-based series on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. It'll be live like this, just like us guys on here now, but it will just be Coach, well, now former coach, but he's going to probably get back into coaching now, but Coach Brian Stork, and then also me, that we're really excited about debuting on Monday night. The first 3 shows, the first 3 really will begin Monday with going through the Florida State versus Oklahoma game, the Cheez-It Bowl. We're going to do a deep dive into that. And then show number 2 is going to be Florida State versus Clemson, the 2013 game. We'll do a full rewind on that with guests that were playing in that game. Get some former FSU Knowles in there, which will be super fun. He's trying to get Nick O'Leary. He's trying to.
Good
There's
luck.
a few ways that he's going to try to sway him to getting in here. I don't know how he's going to get StreamYard onto Nick's phone, but he's trying to.
Give him a package of dip or something. I don't know.
Yeah. That's literally what it's going to be. It might have to be a shipment of Copenhagen sent to Nick O'Leary's house for him to get him on here. But Coach Brian's going to work on that. And then for our third game, we're going to go through some recruiting, some of the 2023 guys that are now signed in. we're gonna do kind of like a little film review on some of the top guys in that class, and hopefully Dustin will accept our invite to that one. So
I haven't been invited.
Well, we'll see if you end up getting it. We see. We might have to go elsewhere. But yeah, really excited for this show. This is going to be called Calculated Chaos. It won't be a podcast. This is just going to be a live video form type deal, and it's not going to be weekly. So whenever we feel like it, kind of like whenever comes time, all right, we really need to get this done and get some content out to you guys. We're going to put some shows out there. So really excited for that debut on Monday night. It should be awesome. Brian is probably somehow more excited than I am. We've spent so many hours on this on the back end trying to figure this out. And he's the one cutting up the film. He's the one going to be using his marker on the screen and everything. So he's really doing the hard work here. I'm just going to sit here and just maybe bring up a few things and probably ask some stupid questions because I'm not the most advanced on film stuff and I want to get better. So why not have, Brian Stork do that? He's already been posting tons of stuff on Twitter, and I think it's going to be awesome. I think fans will love this show.
Looking forward to it. Monday night should be a good debut with Brian Stork. Excited to bring him in to the brand. And yeah, like you said, Logan, I mean, this is really just going to give fans a chance to get down to the nitty gritty of football, learn more about some of the nuances of the game from a guy who played it himself at a very high level. So I think this is just going to be able to give fans a perspective unlike anyone else. And it should be fun because, like you said, Brian's very excited about this. He's picked up some experience as a coach over the last couple of years as well. And it's going to be really interesting to listen to him break all of this down and, kind of get into why Florida State had so much success this past season. Like you said, talk about the recruiting class as well, some past footage. Really going to be exciting to see the direction this thing takes. And, we'll just kind of roll with it.
Yep, super excited to have Brian Stork join the team at Nole Game Day. There's a lot of cool ideas we have for this and the vision for it, and definitely leading into the actual football season ahead, going in and doing recaps on Monday nights. Brian going in, grabbing a couple cuts, like 10 cuts of plays that he think are positive, negatives, things where, looking at Jordan Travis, what he did right, what he did wrong, certain things like that to get the perspective from a damn 2013 national champion, a guy who played with Tom Brady and won a Super Bowl. Come on now. I mean, it should be really fun. So I'm inviting everybody right here on Hear the Spear. I know a lot of y'all listen to us on the podcast version, so come hang out with us on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter at 7 p.m. on Monday night. Should be a fun launch. All right. I think that's going to do it. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Shout out to Jammie for hopping on here. I'm sure we'll have him on here eventually once he gets with the team. And best of luck to him. Hope he stays healthy. The future is extremely bright for him, but appreciate him hopping on here with us. As always, you can listen to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. If you're on YouTube right now, hit the like button, share with your friends. And yeah, that's going to do it. We'll see you guys next Wednesday evening. Same time, same place, 8 o'clock. Peace.